welcome back. My name is Miriam. I'm a knitwear designer. I design patterns for women who love contemporary design and who balance a lot in life. Each of my designs is based on a woman and her quote and her story, and it just helps me as a mom of three, corporate psychologist, and a freelance knitwear designer to hold my head a little higher and become a bit stronger and prouder version of myself. If that sounds like you, check out my patterns. And today we're going to work Honeycomb Brioche in rounds, and I will show you this on the latest sample of my Chloé top. What I am sharing with you here is the method for working Honeycomb Brioche with lifted knits and not with Yarnovers. I saw a lot of tutorials with Yarnovers, but I didn't find any comprehensive tutorial on how to work Honeycomb Brioche in the round with lifted knits. So here it is, and I hope it's helpful for you. Let's dive in. If you watched the video on how to work the Honeycomb Brioche in rows, this is where we ended up. This is the status after row 4. And this is how our stitches look like on the needle. And you can see here that this is exactly the status that we have on my needles as well, where I'm currently knitting the pattern in the round. So let's just continue from here. And this is basically now our round 1 of the Honeycomb Brioche pattern. To achieve the exact same visual, we now need to alternate between knit and purl rounds. And we start with a knit round. So every time you see your stitches sitting here like they've been purled before, then you know the purl round is already done. Next is a knitting round. So let's start with the knitting round. What we do here is similar to what we did in the row pattern, is we knit the stitch below and then we knit the next stitch. We knit the stitch below and we knit the next stitch. You can apply the same principle that I shared with you for knitting in rows. Every time on a right side row, which is a knit row, if you see a stitch, just a single stitch with a single wrap here, you knit it below. If you see a stitch with a double wrap, you just knit it regularly. And this is how your right side and your knit rows, which are your uneven rounds, work. So knit one below, knit one, knit one below, knit one. And we repeat this over the entire round. We have now completed our round 1, and this is how our stitches now sit on the needle. They look like knit stitches because we've worked them as such. So the next round is a purl round, our round 2, and as before we look at our first stitch and see that this is indeed a double wrap stitch. You see here that it has 2 knit wraps around its little stitch leg, and the next stitch does not have this double wrap. It's a bit hidden. Every time we identify a stitch that has this double wrap and we are on a purl round, we have to work the wrap and the stitch leg together. So what I do is I lift up the wrap and then I purl those together as one. The next stitch is a regular purl, and then again we have a double wrap here, and I lift up this little leg and I purl them together. The next, again, a regular purl. And again here, I'm lifting up the little wrap, purling both stitches together. Regular purl, lifted purl. So remember, if you see your stitches present themselves as knit stitches on your needle, every time you see a regular stitch, just purl it. Every time you see a double wrapped stitch, lift up and knit it as a lifted purl. And now we're completing that for the entire round. We are now back after our round 2, and the next one is again an uneven round, a knit round, which you can identify by seeing the purl stitches here. So we've just worked the purl round. Next one is a knit round. And this knit round will start with a regular knit and then a knit below. Why? Because just by visual you can see that there is a double wrap here around this purl stitch, and this one is a single regular purl stitch. So according to our principle, we always knit the double stitches in the right side row, in the knit side round, and we knit below into the single purls. Regular knit and knit below. Regular knit and knit below. And we repeat this pattern until we have the entire round worked. We're now back in our last round of purls. So this is our round 4, and we are starting by identifying our stitches. We have knit stitches on our needle, so yes, next is the purl round, and we see that the first stitch is not a double wrap stitch but a regular stitch, and the second stitch has this little double wrap here around it. So we know already, based on our principle, that if there's a regular knit stitch, we purl it as a regular, and then if there's a wrapped stitch, we purl it as a lifted purl. And again, a regular purl, and this would be a lifted purl. Regular purl and lifted. You can find your own way of how to work the lifted purl stitch. For me, I found it easiest if I just lift it up and purl it then, but you can also lift it immediately from below here, for example like this. Just try out what works the best for you, and there is no right or wrong. And then we're basically repeating this pattern across the entire round until we're done. And that concludes our little tutorial. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Happy knitting!